So here you have your 12 cranial nerves we will be talking about today. On the other side, you see that this is blank. This is where I will be showing you what I have created to memorize the 12 cranial nerves and my mnemonic device that has helped me, that is not inappropriate, and that is easy to remember. So first, let's go over the 12 cranial nerves. First, you start with olfactory, then optic, oculomotor, trochlear, trigeminal, abducens, facial, vestibulocochlear, glossopharyngeal, vagus, spinal accessory, and hypoglossal. Okay, so let's start with the mnemonic device here that I have created to remember the 12 cranial nerves. Reminder, this is an appropriate mnemonic device for all ages, so that you don't need to be worried about sharing this video with your class, or you don't need to be worried about sharing it with friends that you are helping to study. So let's start with number 1. So for olfactory, I have created the word October. I didn't create the word, but you know what I mean. Number 2, for optic, I wrote overwhelms. Number 3, for oculomotor, that would be the name Oliver. Next, for number 4, for trochlear, would be the word too much, and I'm making that one word. For 5, for trigeminal, that would be the word typically. Number 6, for abducens, would be the word about. Number 7, for facial, would be the word fall. 8, for vestibulocochlear, would be the word. Sorry for the interruption, but if you are enjoying this video, please hit that thumbs up button. Also, like and subscribe to my channel. You can also find me on Instagram at Nurse Katherine here, and you can always email me at nursekatherinehere@gmail.com. Now enjoy the rest of this video, guys. Vegetables. Number 9 would be the word growing. 10 for vagus would be very. 11 would be successfully. But notice for 11 it's spinal accessory, so I needed 2 words here, so I wrote successfully. And for the last one, for 12, is the word huge. Now let me read this to you. October overwhelms Oliver too much. Typically about fall vegetables growing very successfully and huge. Say Oliver is a farmer and vegetables growing very successfully and huge overwhelm him. So make up a story when you're creating your mnemonic devices. So this has helped me remember my 12 cranial nerves for studying. So now let's go over how you can differentiate between the O's and some of these other cranial nerves that repeat with the first letter. So for our first O's, for olfactory, you have a CT here. In October, you also have a CT. So that's how you can remember olfactory, October. They both have that CT in them. For the second one, for optic, I do not have a way to remember that, but for oculomotor and for Oliver, you have your O and your L. You also have an O and an L in Oliver. So now let's go back to optic. There's really nothing in common with optic and with overwhelms as letters go. So that one just matches up, you know that they don't have a connecting factor. But for the first one, you have olfactory and October. For the third one, you have oculomotor and Oliver, or you could say Oliver, but you could remember it as Oliver to remember oculomotor. Trochlear and too much, tro with the O and two with the O's, trochlear, too much. O and O. Trigeminal and typically have the trigeminal and typically. So you have your I's and your I, your O and your O. For abducens, you have your AB. For about, you also have your AB. Facial and fall, that's an FA and FA. For vestibulocochlear and vegetables, that's your VE, your VE. For glossopharyngeal and growing, you don't really have much in common with those. You could say the O over here and the O here, but you also don't have any other G's lined up in your 12 cranial nerves. So that one's not one to be too concerned about. Vagus and very. You see the difference between the vestibulocochlear, it's a longer word, and vegetables is also a longer word. Vagus is a short word, so is very. So it's a short word with a short word and a long word with a long word. For spinal accessory, you also have no other S cranial nerves, so that one's not as hard to remember, and it's one word and a second word, one word and a second word. So that's pretty easy to remember. And lastly, with hypoglossal and huge, there are no other H's with your 12 cranial nerves, so that one is easier to remember as well. So let's go down and talk about this again. Olfactory, October. CT, optic, overwhelms. Oculomotor and oliver, OL. Trochlear, too much, O and O. Trigeminal and typically, I and I. Abducens, about. Facial, fall. Vestibulocochlear, vegetables. Long word, long word. Glossopharyngeal, growing, but remember that's also your only G and your only G. Vagus, short word, very, it's a short word. Spinal accessory, 2 words, successfully and 2 words. Hypoglossal, huge. So let me read it one last time. October overwhelms Oliver too much. Typically about fall vegetables growing very successfully and huge.
And that does it, guys. That does it for cranial nerves. Remember, I will be posting new videos every Tuesday on my YouTube channel. Remember to check out my Instagram as well, and do not forget to subscribe. I hope you all have a blessed day, and I will see you in next week's video. See ya!